And we'll give it a second for YouTube to make sure we're on. But we are live. So, welcome back to Adventure Repeats. Glad to see you here. So, if this is your first time here, make sure you like the video. And what we're doing is we're doing the Michigan boating weather forecast. So, we're doing the forecast for all the Great Lakes around the lower peninsula of the state of Michigan. For anybody that likes to get on the big water, do some big fishing, or take the power boats out. Any great loopers out there trying to get around the state. So, that's what we're doing today. So we're going to start down in South Haven. So today, South Haven's looking for northwest winds 15 to 25 knots, mostly sunny, waves 3 to 5 feet. Tonight, northwest winds 30 knots, partly cloudy with a slight chance of rain showers, waves 4 to 6 feet. Saturday, west winds to 30 knots, mostly sunny, waves 4 to 6 feet. Saturday night, northwest winds around 20 knots, mostly clear, waves 3 to 5 feet. Sunday, west winds 10 to 20 knots, sunny, waves 2 to 4 feet. So, this is a terrible weekend to be out on the big lake for South Haven area. So, I'd suggest sticking to the rivers or some inlands because that's windy and wavy stuff for anything small. So, even the small stuff, that is not going to be fun. So, next, Grand Haven. Today, they're looking at west-northwest winds 16 to 18 knots, increasing clouds, waves around 4 feet. Tonight, west-northwest wind 18 to 20 knots, partly cloudy, waves around 5 feet. Saturday, west-northwest wind 18 to 21 knots, sunny, waves 5 to 6 feet. Saturday night, west-northwest wind around 16 knots, partly cloudy, waves 3 to 4 feet. Sunday, west-northwest wind 11 to 16 knots, sunny, waves 2 to 3 feet. Sunday night, west wind around 9 knots, partly cloudy, waves around a foot. So most of the weekend for Grand Haven area is going to be terrible too, until Sunday night when the waves finally die off in the middle of the night. And it's looking like after that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be looking a little better, but this weekend for Grand Haven area is not looking great. Ludington. Today, they're looking at a west-northwest wind from 7 to 12 knots, becoming west in the afternoon, mostly sunny, waves 2 to 3 feet. Tonight, west-northwest wind 14 to 17 knots, with gusts as high as 26 knots, a slight chance of showers, waves 3 to 4 feet. Saturday, west wind 14 to 18 knots, with gusts as high as 25 knots, mostly sunny, waves 3 to 5 feet. Saturday night, west-northwest wind 12 to 14 knots, as gusts as high as 22 knots, partly cloudy, waves 2 to 3 feet. Sunday, west-northwest wind 9 to 13 knots, with gusts as high as 20 knots, sunny, waves 1 to 2 feet. And then Sunday night, west-southwest wind 7 to 9 knots, becoming west-northwest after midnight, mostly clear, waves around a foot. So Ludington is not looking like a great time to be out in the water, except for maybe Sunday. It's going to be windy, so it's going to be choppy. On Sunday, as the night goes on, I'll get better, but Sunday is going to be kind of your best day. There is small craft advisories out for the Ludington area between today and Saturday. So I know Grand Haven and South Haven don't have small craft advisories, but I would think that would still apply for them because that is still the same chop and wave height. So definitely be aware when you're out there in that lower West Michigan area. So the Traverse Bay area, so specifically out of Northport. Today we're looking at west winds 5 to 15 knots, isolated showers after 4 p.m., a slight chance of water spouts after 4 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. So that'd be interesting if you see a water spout on the water. Tonight, west wind 10 to 15 knots, scatter storms mainly after 7 p.m., a chance of water spouts, waves around a foot. Saturday, west wind around 15 knots with gusts as high as 25 knots. A chance of showers, a slight chance of water spouts, waves around 2 feet. And Saturday night, west-northwest wind around 10 knots, a slight chance of showers before 1 a.m., waves around a feet. So, Saturday's going to be an interesting day. The wind's going to kick up, so it's going to be a little bit gustier, so the waves are going to pick up a little bit. And then Sunday, west-northwest wind around 10 knots, partly sunny, waves around a foot. And then Sunday night, west wind 5 to 10 knots, becoming north-northwest after midnight, mostly clear, waves around a foot. So The Grand Traverse Bay area, Sunday is going to be your day, unless you want to get out there today and just be aware of the weather and keep an eye on the sky. But otherwise, Sunday is looking like a great day to be on the water out there. And there is no small craft advisories for the Grand Traverse Bay, or not Grand Traverse Bay, the Traverse City Bay. So, Petoskey. Today, we're looking at a west wind, 5 to 15 knots. Isolated showers after 4 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. And tonight, west wind around 10 knots, scattered showers mainly after 7 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. Saturday, west wind 10 to 15 knots with gusts as high as 25 knots. Showers likely mainly after 1 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. Saturday night, west-northwest wind around 10 knots, a chance of showers mainly before 1 a.m., waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday, we're looking at a west-northwest wind around 10 knots, a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms before 10 a.m., and then a slight chance of showers between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday night, west-northwest wind 5 to 10 knots, becoming variable, less than 5 knots at evening, mostly clear, waves 1 foot or less. So, today doesn't seem like a bad day. Looks like they're looking at storms in the afternoon as well as Saturday. Afternoon showers. The waves are going to be low, so as long as you keep an eye on the weather, it looks pretty good. And then Sunday, it looks like Sunday morning is kind of crappy. Other than that, looks like the rest of the day Sunday is going to clear out. There's no small craft advisory, so obviously there's some kind of storm system rolling it through that upper part of Michigan. Other than that, not a bad day. Not a bad weekend to be out on the water. So, the Mackinac Straits, the Mackinac City area. Today, you're looking at a west wind, 5 to 15 knots, isolated showers after 5 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. Tonight, we're looking at a west-northwest wind around 10 knots, scattered showers mainly after 5 a.m., a slight chance of waterspouts, waves 1 foot or less. Saturday, west wind, 15 to 20 knots, with gusts as high as 25 knots. Scattered showers, a slight chance of waterspouts, waves around a foot. Saturday night, west-northwest wind, 10 to 15 knots, with a slight chance of showers, mainly before 2 a.m. A slight chance of waterspouts, waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday, west-northwest wind, 10 to 15 knots, a slight chance of showers before 2 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday night, a northwest wind, 5 to 10 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. So it looks like it's going to be windy and choppy pretty much the whole entire time up there. Other than today, it seems like to be good. But after today and turns into tonight, it's going to get a storm system rolling through. The Saturday is wind gusts of 25 knots. That's a lot. And it says waves around a foot, so it's just going to be chop. It's going to be just bouncy. Other than that, keep an eye on the sky for those water spouts. You don't want to be out there on the water with that. On that, Sunday, you just got to watch out for the chance of showers in the morning, but that's about it. And that might not even happen. So Sunday may be your day to be out in the water there. Alpena area. Today, you're looking at north-northwest wind around 10 knots, becoming west-northwest in the afternoon. Sunny, waves 1 foot or less. Excuse me. Tonight, you're looking at west wind around 10 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. Saturday, a west wind around 15 knots with gusts as high as 25 knots. Chance of showers mainly after 2 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. Saturday night, west wind 10 to 15 knots, a chance of showers mainly before 8 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday, we got a west-northwest wind 10 to 15 knots. A slight chance of showers with thunderstorms possible after 2 p.m., waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday night, northwest wind 5 to 10 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. So today looks like a great day for the water out there in Alpena area. Saturday, you got a chance of showers pretty much throughout the day. Something's going to be passing through, good or bad. That's what they're looking for. So other than that, you just got to keep it out for that. And Sunday, looks like Sunday afternoon. But maybe something's rolling through. It's hard to say. Sunday's kind of far out for Michigan, especially with this kind of weather system that's rolling through. So, Essexville. So, your Saginaw Bay area. So specifically at Essexville. Today, you're looking at a west wind, 9 to 11 knots. Mostly sunny, waves 1 foot or less. Tonight, west wind 11 to 14 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. Saturday, west wind 13 to 17 knots with gusts as high as 27 knots. Partly sunny, waves 1 foot or less. Saturday night, west wind 12 to 17 knots with gusts as high as 26 knots. A chance of showers, waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday, west northwest wind 12 to 15 knots with gusts as high as 23 knots. Mostly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday night, west northwest wind 8 to 12 knots with gusts as high as 19 knots. Mostly clear, waves 1 foot or less. So today looks like a good day. It looks like it's just going to be a little windy, but not bad for that area. Saturday, it's really just Saturday night that is kind of the problem area. So other than that, it's just going to be windy. With those kind of winds, it's going to be choppy. It's going to blow you around. It's going to be choppy a little bit. And then Sunday, it's just going to be windy, very windy. So it's going to be very choppy on that. Doesn't look like it's bad weather at all. Monroe, so Lake Erie, the Detroit River area. So today you're looking at a west-northwest, or north-northwest wind, 7 to 12 knots. Mostly sunny, waves 1 foot or less. Tonight you're looking at a west-northwest wind, 7 to 11 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. Saturday, west wind 9 to 14 knots, with gusts as high as 23 knots, partly sunny, waves 1 foot or less. Saturday night, west wind 7 to 12 knots, with gusts as high as 19 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. Sunday, west wind 8 to 12 knots, with gusts as high as 18 knots, mostly sunny, waves 1 foot or less. And then Sunday night, west wind 5 to 9 knots, partly cloudy, waves 1 foot or less. So that area, it's looking like there's no storm chances, which is cool. It's going to be windy. That's the only downside. And waves 1 foot or less means it's going to be choppy. So you might need some extra anchors, things like that. It's just going to blow you around a little bit, but it's still a good time to be out in the water for that area. So that is most of the forecast for around the Lower Peninsula, Lake Michigan area, Lake Huron, Lake Erie. So hopefully that's helpful. So it definitely looks like there's storms rolling through on the west side of the state and more in the north as well. There are small craft advisories, pretty much everything from Ludington and down on Lake Michigan. Also, I found out that there is a lot of E. coli and algae blooms going on, like Muskegon and South area. Like they had a bad bloom and things like that. I think Silver Lake pretty much closed all their beaches in that area as well. So I think Ludington and South, pretty much the Grand Haven area, is all closed off. So be aware if you see some green water, stay out of it because people have been getting sick, it looks like. Other than that, it's gonna be hit or miss for weather. Yeah. So hopefully anybody can get out. If not, get out on the rivers, get out on the inland lakes. It'd be a lot better, maybe a little breezy, but still enjoy the weather. It looks to be mostly good. Other than that, so make sure to like the video, comment, tell us what you think, tell us what else you want to hear about, and subscribe. We got a lot of great content coming, a lot of great content on the channel, so be sure to check out, and remember to have a great adventure.